Hey guys, it's David here down in Florida. It's chilly, chilly Florida. So I'm in my hotel room. We just got done with class about a couple hours ago, and I'm doing a workshop down here in the villages. And yeah, it's cold. It's like 30, 34 degrees every day and rainy. And so wonderful Florida, Sunshine State. I have not seen any sunshine whatsoever yet. So, anyways, we're gonna toast you with a Dale's, one of the I can't even see that. Dale's Pale Ale, American Pale Ale, but this I think is from Colorado, so and not from Florida, but that's what we had at the studio at the village's workshop place. And so one of the ladies, or the owner of the villages, gave me this beer to test. And so cheers everybody. So again, Dale's Pale Ale, and let's taste it. Oh, look at that nice pour I did. An IPA, so it's a little bitter, but I'm gonna give it a 8.5. 8.5, a little bitter for my taste, but it's actually very good beer. Thanks, guys. Cheers, cheers, everybody, and let's hope for some sun this weekend. Yeah, come all the way down to Florida. I could have stayed in Illinois for this. So let's go to our supplies, and our supplies are Holbein watercolors, my brushes, the Holbein brushes, the BeckerArt brushes, and we're gonna be using some Legion paper. And I know there's a watercolor live going on right now. So there's many of you watching that. And so, but here's what we're doing today. We're doing a turtle, a sea turtle. And here I broke it down to black and white. And now remember, we're doing this today. We're doing this three color. And look at my lights going back and on and off. Anyways, that's okay. So we are in a hotel room, so it's not going to be as pleasant the picture as in my studio. Hey Sherry, and so if you look at the there's my pointer. So let's see, pointer's at the bottom. Let's bring it over to the top. So if you look, where are my lights? The lights are the background, and there's a light shining through there, and the top of the turtle. Excuse me, there's a little bit down here, and the rest is pretty much my darks, right? And so this little bit of light on the edge of the turtle is really cool, so I think it's gonna be like super nice. I remember I said it's gonna be a three color study, and so I'm gonna basically use the primary colors, some kind of primary colors, which technically should be making all of the colors, right? But and I was going to do this demonstration at the studio, but it had a really, my camera was just going dark and light, but there's waves. This is just dark and light. Okay, so see how it goes dark and light, but it was like lines through there. Anyways, let's go to our tabletop and get going here. And so these are the three colors I'm going to use. I'm going to use peacock blue. So peacock blue is a really bright, bright blue. Um, and I remember when I say three colors, you also use black and white. So I can make peacock blue a light blue too by adding white, right? So I'm allowing you to use white or use the white of the paper, right? Because you're using the white paper anyways, but you can use white um, paint and then also black. And so you can make it darker. You can make it even darker blue than this. The yellow, I'm going to use quinacridone gold, Q gold, I like to call it, quinacridone gold. And so we're going to use that. And then we're going to be using like a alizarin crimson type. I think it's crimson lake. So like a crimson color, like that's my red. So it's not a vibrant bright red. It's a kind of purpley red. All right, and so we're gonna get started with our lights. And I even put the up here, or is it right there? I put the black and white so I can see where I'm going to keep the lights, right? And I don't have to. I'm gonna mix. I can mix the colors to get like a green. I can mix quinacridone gold and the blue, and maybe a little bit of white to get the green stuff down here. And you can keep it limited palette or just to those colors, but see what you can do. It's always nice to use three colors. So that I'm just going to reach into those colors and actually this one is over here. This is quinacridone gold. This is my red, my alizarin, and this one over here I'm using the pee pad from the dog. I don't want to use the hotel's blanket here, or the towel. Hey Wendy, hey Patty. Patty said she had a great workshop, and Patty did a great job on it was the 2 days of gouache and 2 days of watercolor. And so the first 2 days were watercolor. The second 2 days of the workshop were watercolor and gouache, which watercolor is gouache. I mean, gouache is watercolor. It's just that it's opaque watercolor. And so, but we're just using these three colors, and as soon as I add white to something, it will be opaque, right? It's going to be opaque, which then I guess you could say is a gouache. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to do the background, the lights, right? We always do our lights first, and I have it right there as the lights. You can see the back of the thing. So I'm just going to wet this all. Just going to wet it. I'm just going to put it on there. And if you have questions, let me know. Right now, the Watercolor Live is also going on, and I'm not sure who's Watercolor Live is through Eric Rhodes, the Streamline or company, and they do the Plein Air magazine, and so that's going on right now, Watercolor Live. I did two different videos for that, and I can only show you probably the Legion paper one when it gets done. I can't show you the one I did for thing because people paid for that, and so I think after a while, then I can probably do it. And so I went around the turtle, which I really don't have to because it's gonna be darker. Well, actually, it's gonna be lighter, so it's actually good that I go in there and just do the background. And so I'm gonna take peacock blue and see what it feels like when I do a wash of it. And this part over here is gonna be a little bit darker. And if I want to turn a little bit green, I'll put a little bit of quinacridone gold in there. So let's see what that looks like. And I'm gonna make the sun shine right through the water. Hey Pat. Hey Ann and Pat from Wisconsin. Hey Cindy. Hey Eve. I cannot believe that I come to Florida and it is 34 degrees, 35 degrees, 36 degrees. It's like, are you kidding me? I have not, I wore shorts. I said, I don't care. I'm wearing shorts. It's just like, I brought more shorts because every year I've come here, it's been nice, but not this year. So hopefully I'll be in Volano Beach near St. Augustine this weekend, and I'm hoping that we get some little bit nicer weather. So I'm just putting the blue in here. And normally, if I would do this with full color, I would probably use a turquoise there, but I can put a little bit of the quinacridone gold in there. Oh, that's a little bit too much. See how green it got all of a sudden? So just a little bit. Let's get more. Let's get more of the blue, just a little bit of green. And I can use a little bit of white. Let's use a little bit of white in there, see how that helps it. It'll make it probably kind of dull, and it's not going to be as vibrant. And I'm just going to go up here and make the waves, like you're seeing waves through there. Going around the turtle. Get a little bit of this. And this back here is a dark, so but it is the background, so I'm doing a little bit of step one and step two. Step one again is the lights and the colors that you're gonna be using. Well, these are the colors I'm using, so basically blue and orange are my complements that I'm gonna try to use. And actually, this is this crescent board again I'm using today. That is always bad, but I gotta get rid of this stuff. And it's basically okay in the long run, it's okay. I'm gonna try to do some light blue with white. No, that's gonna be kind of dark. So use the white of the paper a little bit if I can. And white is okay too on here. Let's get a little bit more of the darker. Yeah, because this is like should be very turquoisey, right? I mean, if you're doing this kind of scene, put a little bit of green in there, maybe. Oh, maybe I can get it. Look at, I can get it kind of close. And I try to get all the water done at once. I don't try to. I try to get the background done with one shot. I don't want to go back in there later because I want the soft edges and I want this really bright. So let's see, white, crack on gold, a little bit of blue. I'm dying to go into the light blue, but it's a three color, so you gotta stick with the three color. I could have used that and maybe made the blue turquoise at first, but how to get a really nice dark, dark crisp? I guess I could use black, but that grays it down. Yeah, that'll be good. And as I come down here, this is going to be dark plants, so just go right through that. Hey everyone, looking for questions. And see, I'm going around the front, and so I'm going to being kind of careful with what's right there. And to make a yellow, or to make like a green green, I have to make the green dark, but then I got to use white and lighten it up. So it's not going to be a very, I probably should have used like a bright yellow instead of cracking gold, but oh well. Because white makes things pastel-like, and so that's what it's going to have to be, white pastel-y green. Which kind of work. I mean, it kind of work making it like, see, I'm making it a little pastel, put a little bit of, nope, that doesn't work at all. So is that okay? Yeah, I'm going to put some hard edges in there later for the top part, but I do want this side to be a little bit darker. And like I said, I can also use black to dull it down. So if you dull down parts of it, then it'll make the lights look lighter and maybe even brighter with intensity. I'm gonna make some more panels of arches or to of Stonehenge. You know, and then this leg, oh, this leg is gonna be dark in there, so I'm just gonna go over that right away. And same thing with the dark areas here. I'm just gonna take a light over this. Again, you do your lights first, but sometimes you have to put your darks in there right away too. And my black is right here. I said I can use black and white too, right? And so I put a little black in this blue to darken it up a little bit. And that's part of step two, which is my large lights and darks. I mean, my large mediums and darks. And so that's kind of a medium. And I'm going to go down right through here. And then this is going to be the light. I got to do some light in here to get some of this green. This is like greenery, little tropical plants underneath the water. And I'm gonna make this the underneath of him warm. His leg or his fin, I mean his fin. His fin will be a little bit dark, and then we have light behind it. So let's take some quinacridone gold and see if we can't get some gold in here. See this, and so I'm using the white of the paper to get the yellow, and I should have thought that through a little bit better. Because it's kind of hard to make it light. Not a light, it's a gold. What happens if I put white into the cracked gold? Let's see. Kind of yellowy. And so you don't have to copy it to a T, the color. That's why I put the value pattern up there. You can use whatever color you have of the three. And it makes you think more about how to use the values when I do this in January, when I use one color, two color, three color. Only because it just helps when it comes to learning how to do values. It's so important to learn values. Now this leg will be darker than what's back here, so I can go into the leg. Just want to keep the edge right there, nice and light. So this is like the background. And I can go right over I can go over this stuff. Cause I could actually go right over the arm too, but I want to keep that edge on there, the edge of the front there. And let's see what else we got here. Yeah, this is kind of dark in here. So I'm gonna take that blue with a little bit of black, which is this is my black right here. This is my plein air palette. Yep, this is my plein air palette. This is the one where I made myself. Somebody asked what brand it is. It's not a brand. I made it myself. It's lip balm things, and then I hot glued them to a metal pan, a metal like tin. I put a tin, like a pencil tin type of thing, and I just hot glued them in there. I wanted to have them removable with magnets, but they just flew all over the place all the time, so I just glued them in. I said enough of this. So here we're gonna put them dark. Use some warm colors, some of the yellow. Oh, I forgot any of the red. I haven't put any red in here yet. Because I can make it purple. You know, I can make it purple with my blue. So let's just clean this up here a little bit. Make some purple. So I said red, right? I said this color red, and if I do that with blue, I'll make some purple. You know, me and my purple. I need my purple. So look at that. Ooh, we can get some nice purples in there. And I'm making this dark over here, and then I can rub some stuff out here, and I do have to make it lighter than the fin though. The fin is darker, but not too much darker. Let's see, we got some nice yellow with white down here. And I'm just putting this also together. I can go more with thicker with the paints, or I can rub out. And let's get a little bit more of this lavender. Actually, I just put yellow there, so that's not going to do very good. And this is all wet, right? I'm doing it all wet and wet. So I'm getting a lot of soft edges, which is what I want. And this area is pretty light, but over here we have a nice dark green. If you're down at the villages, visit the villages art workshops, the art center, villages art center. It's actually not in the actual town of, it's in Summerfield, I think. But it's right outside, the villages. And so let's make this a little bit darker. It's just amazing how cold it's been. I mean, it literally has been like not quite freezing, but very close to freezing. And I'm just like, wait, I've never been here when it's been like this. I've been here, I don't know, since 2016, I think I've been coming here. And actually, I think since 2016 I've been coming here, and never once. One time I was a little bit cold, but then it turns right away. But it has not been. There's been no sun. I've seen no sun in the last since Sunday. Since Sunday, I've not seen any sun. Well, actually, there was sun the one day. There was sun one day, but it was like 30, it was still like 32 degrees. Well, 36, like 36 degrees. Very strange for Florida here in the mid. And I'm going to be going to St. Augustine tomorrow. Oops, don't dip into one that you're not using. So I'm going to go to St. Augustine, and I've got a workshop in Volano Beach, and I'm hoping to do that demonstration on Sunday from the beach. So I'm going to hopefully get some sun out here. All right, so look at this nice, and I know that I haven't done anything on the turtle, but the turtle's dark in some spots, so I'm getting all my lights and mediums right now for the background and underneath the turtle, and then there is some shadowing underneath the turtle. I'll get that later. This got a little bit dark, so I'm just going to go in there. The class today was gouache, like using gouache, and so I'm getting really used to using um, like opaque colors on it, and so it's not as it's not as transparent, and sometimes that's even better if you get more transparency. But um, this is fine. All right, let's do the back of the turtle now. And so what I'll do is I'll wet the turtle, and this is wet, but I'll get close. I'll get close to it, and back here, look at the nice light blue. So I'm gonna take blue, add white to that. I can use the blue also with water and use the paper white, but I mean, and helping it out a little bit with a little bit of white, because this is not a light blue. This is a dark blue, and if I use it really thin, then I can make it, make it a blue. And then in the front here, I'm going to take the red and the quinacridone gold and some white to make it a little bit lighter. And that gives me a little bit of like an orange, kind of an orange. But if I take a gold, that'll be fine. And I'm going to wet this and go around this shell. And I didn't wet it first with just water. I wet it with pigment in my brush. I call that painting as you go along, or wetting it as you go along. So you wet it as you have pigment in your brush. And look at how this, and look at these dots. I gotta stop using this paper. I gotta stop using this board. Can't believe this paper. Because you get these marks. They kind of go away at the end, but it shouldn't be at all. Like it must be a bad batch again, like I keep on telling. But I bought a lot of it, and I even brought it down here. And so get rid of this line, because see, when it dries so fast, it's just soaking into the paper, and the sizing is not doing anything. The sizing is not working on the paper. That means the sizing is bad. And so this has a little bit of dark in here of the shell. There's a little bit light at the edge here. I'm looking for the values, and then I pick a color as what I'm already using. So always look for the colors that you're using, and then just don't worry too much about the colors because it's more about the values. Look for the values. And then down here it's gonna be really dark, but I can't do that yet because now it's wet. Let's do his head. And I'm gonna use a smaller brush for his head because I wanna make it look wet in the wet. And it's like I'm drawing. Let's have another sip of this beer. 8.5, not bad, but it's a little bitter. But if you like bitter IPAs, then this is a really good one. 8.5. Cheers, everybody. Okay, then let's go to. So this is warm. I'm going to start this part of his body warm. I'll keep that warm. And then I'll go to his head. It looks like it's nice and blue. It's like the blue is really reflecting in there nicely. I'm going to clear my palette. Because when you're mixing, I have to mix my light blues because I don't have a light blue unless I'm using the paper. And sometimes that's hard to do when you have water down there. And so I like to go with a little bit of white in there because you can control it better, the pigment when there's more, or control the paint better when there's pigment in the in your brush. If it's just a tint and hardly any pigment, it's hard to control that. Coming down here, getting that together. Now I'm going to take that same blue. Look at how nice that blue looks in there. Let's make this really wet. So if I use a lot of water, it can kind of do the same thing here. Watch, I'm going to use some water. See how when you use water and white the paper, it's also light, right? And then you can float pigment in there. You can't control it as much. You can't make a line when you're using it just so wet because it just wants to bleed all over then. And then we have underneath I'm just going to bring this right into the underneath his fin. And I have done other sea turtles if you want to find a different sea turtle that I've done already in my years of doing these not plein air, these paint-alongs. I mean, I've been talking a lot of what happened in the last years and stuff, and because since I've been coming down here, it's been 2016, but then I remember COVID happened, and then I didn't come down the one year, but then the following year we went back down. We all had our masks on, and so it's interesting to talk back about what we had done. Although this year I didn't do much outside. I didn't go swimming, didn't do any of that. So here now, see, I'm gonna take this blue, and I'm getting pretty decent colors for the just using these three colors, right? I mean, got some yellow and got the red that makes it orange, and now we're getting this beautiful blue fin in the front here, light blue. Let me put a little bit of white into this area, or just take the water and let it blend to the paper and keeping it lighter right there. Like make it a little bit lighter right there, and come down. And I'm going to do the details after I get it done, after I get it colored. I'm leaving the edges white of the paper because it's nice to keep that as white of paper. It looks nicer than putting white paint on there. And then the edges of this are dark on the bottom, so there it can go nice and dark. And I'll put a little warmth in there, so a little bit of this, which will make it green, of course. But then I'll take red. Oh, that's not that one. Okay. I sit there and go into other things. You have gotten so far in just 30 minutes. Love the turtle. Hey, Maria. This one I drew really quickly, because I was going to do it at the studio there in the studio, the village's arts center, the village's art workshops. But the camera was just giving me these lines, and so I had to hurry up and think, oh, I'm going to do it back in the hotel, and it didn't do that here. So, but I drew it up really quickly, and so it's not super detailed, but I freehanded it, and it's pretty neat. I think it's pretty close to what it looks like. And this is an AI image. This is an AI image that somebody put on Pixabay. But I'm trying to make it look a little bit less AI. Gosh, it's over here. See, that's the red. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of dark with the blue, makes it purple, right? And so this would be nice and dark. This is blue and purple. Blue and red make purple, right? And so we're gonna do that right here. Look at that dark peacock blue. And this red here, that's going to be like a purple if I put a little water on there. I'm going to make it a little dark right here. Come down, that's this little fin. Is it a fin or a flipper? Flipper probably, right? Flipper. And then maybe some quinacridone gold. Would that work? Let's do it dark. Follow the value. Follow the value pattern, right? I always say that, so I gotta do it myself. Follow the value pattern. So I'm just gonna make this lighter with my, this will turn it green though. This will turn it kind of green. That's okay. I'm gonna turn a little green up here. So a lot of these underwater things are very just all blue. If you look at them, a lot of times they're all just blue. So it's nice to have a little bit of this warmth in there too. This is wet into wet. And then there's a nice dark right here. And inside the shell, let's see right here, it's really dark. And so I'm gonna make that dark right there. Just pick some of the colors up on your palette that you mix, because I'm only mixing three colors, so this is all those three colors. And before I started, I was testing them what I could use to make, what three complementary colors or what three primary colors do I use? Of course, red, yellow, and blue, but which one of those red, yellows, and blues? Because I needed to make a green, I needed to make this and that, and so I probably should have used more of a bright yellow to make with this red, but this is fine. And look at the beautiful dark I can make with the peacock blue, and it's like dark purple, but I can just kind of use that to make something really dark. And a lot of this is wet. A lot of this is wet, so that's going to come. I'm getting a lot of this soft edging, and I think that's to do a little bit with the amount of the sizing, like on this border. Not great. Turtles have flippers. Oh, thanks, Sherry. Give it a thumbs up. Hit the like button. Thank you, Tenny. Let's get a little bit darker in here now, and the flipper, and the flipper right here, the flipper. Yeah, I won't be doing much scuba diving or or snorkeling, I don't think, here in Florida. Not with the cold weather, my gosh. Well, in like the upper panhandle of Florida, it snowed. I can't even believe that it snowed up there. It's like, wow, good timing. I would have such good timing. Put a little green in here. And you know, all they have like these little beautiful little scales, or not scales, but whatever that is, like on their body, and so that's going to be great to put that in there. But I put that in there afterwards with a little bit darker color, and I can also put some of it with white around them, white around these dark colors. So this got a little bit of watermark because I put a little bit too much water there. This I'm going to make a little bit darker as I come down. And this got a watermark too because that's starting to dry. So when you get a watermark like that, just wet it and keep on wetting it on through here again. Just wet it back up again. It's gonna be his eye. Well, let's get his back flipper. See, now I know. Thank you. Yeah, his back flipper was there, but it looked kind of like not that great. You know what I mean? It was just came out a little bit there. So I took that little flipper away. It just didn't look right. And so I think I'm gonna put one right here to show the back flipper. There's like a little bit of his private parts hanging out there. It didn't look great. So I took it out. So that's what did I just go? Yeah, I went into Chronicum Gold, and then I'm gonna go into the blue to get this to get a green. And it gets really dark right here by the flipper. And I just pull it in there. I really love when my students and you guys are able to work wet in the wet and get your edges with wet in the wet. It really makes a big difference if you can do that. You know, that's what I really focus on in my classes because it's so important to learn how to do that. Being able to control the pigment in a wet wash. It just looks so nice. Make just a little bit lighter down here. Thank you for liking everybody. Thank you for, and also if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That's even helps even more if you're subscribed to my channel. Subscribe to the channel. That's also awesome because then people think, and then the algorithm thinks that you actually want to see my stuff. A bit white and make it a little bit lighter yellow. All right, see how it's just glowing back up into that area? So now in the values study that I have up above right here, I'm not going to make it as dark right by the fin, but I will make it a little bit darker so that it looks like there's like coral and stuff out in there. And this I'm going to negative paint around a little bit with a darker color. So I'm going to go with some of the colors that are there already and just lightly put a tint over the coral. Instead of like a really big wash, I'm just going to make a tint and get to look like the light part of the coral is lighter. And I'm not going to make hard contrast. I want it to sit down and back and keep it soft edge if I want it not to come pop forward. The coral I kind of want to pop forward here a little bit. And I know it's not as green as the picture, and it's not as vibrant, but I can't make it that vibrant because I don't have those. I don't have a light green. I could make it, but it's going to be a pastel-y green, and I'm just going to keep it at like that yellow. I think that's fine. It actually looks more. This AI image looks a little bit too, Finding Nemo, you know, Finding Nemo type of scene. animated. It's a little bit too animated for me. So make a little bit of darks here. I'm looking at the darks. I'm looking at the values. I never do not look at the values or think about the values pattern. That's so important to everything. I can't tell you how important it is. It's just what makes your painting. And you can use whatever color you want if you get the values right. And I guess next week at the thing they have Carol Carter who's coming in to the workshop in the villages, and she is when it comes to like using not the right color for what things are, she is a master at that. She'll make, a horse blue, and so it's cool. Let me use black and blue here, and I'm just going to make this part back here. I am going to make a little bit darker, make the background darker than the flipper, and then come around here. Negative paint this part, and actually this part is darker, but I'm gonna negative paint a little bit on top here. And then there probably should be a shadow down here a little bit, but let's make this a little wavy, this dark. And I don't start my details until I get this stuff done. I don't do details until you have the big parts finished. Now this is wrong. See, on one side of the flipper, you have this is the same on the other side of the flipper. Otherwise, it looks strange. Why is it not dark on this side? So I'm going to take a little bit of this dark and then pull it over here and then just, there we go. That looks better. I always say that when you have some kind of object that goes on one side, like if it was a tree, whatever's on one side has to be on the opposite side. A flipper, what's on this side has to be on that side too. Otherwise, it reads like this is something different. So that's not good. So I'm gonna make darkness a little bit too up here. When you're doing a three colors, very easy to pick your colors because you're only allowed those three. So dip into one of them, see what you get. All right. Some coral over here. It's kind of like, I don't know the names of coral. It's just coral. But this is kind of a dark, it's kind of dark right over there. So I'm gonna just take my round brush and just make these. If you have a saltwater fish tank, then you probably know what these are. So these are just nice dark. And yes, I am still not working on the turtle, but I have to wait for it to dry because the only thing left on the turtle is the detail. So of course I'm not going to go in there while it's wet, so I might as well get all this background done. Making this world really dark. That's what it is on the side there. It'd be fun to go snorkeling and see this. It would be fun, wouldn't it? All right. Dark down here too. Like this corner is dark, right? It comes across here, and I don't want to make it too ugly with just a dark. I'm gonna put a little bit of color in this area too. Yeah, those. If you ever had a saltwater fish tank, I remember I used to know. somebody that had like a bunch of saltwater fish tanks in their house, and man, was that beautiful. Some they had all these moving, and all the fish are like. I was gonna put some clownfish in here, but again, I don't want to make it Finding Nemo. If you want to do that, you go right ahead. The last one I did, remember I put a little diver in it up on top and stuff, but not this one. I keep this one a little bit different. This got a little bit weird up here. Let's put a little white together. How much time do I have? I haven't looked. 7:10 already. Wow. 8:10 for me here. All right, let's get this Mr. Turtle here. Let's get this dude. This turtle dude. If you ever seen Nemo, you know that's what I'm talking about. And let me go close up on his face. I don't know what's on his face. Let me just see real quick for a second. So let's put him above this one. So he's got this right here, a little shadow, but then he's got all this little, see all the little crevices and his little round things. And you can tell it's an AI by that, right? So I just want to see what that looked like. Memorize it a little bit. And so I have a little bit dark right here. And I'm gonna go with blue and white. And then the actual parts are actually kind of brownish, right? And so I'm gonna kind of make a brown after that. But first I'm gonna get the shape of his face. Get a little bit darker underneath his chin here. No, I can't make it wet because then I'm gonna have to wait for it to dry again. So let me leave it like that. And let's go down here and get this done. And let me pull this up again. Okay, so that's like really dark and there's little white lines everywhere around that. So see how dark the little scales are? So let's do dark scales. Let's make it kind of brownish. And that's easy because you take the red and the yellow, and then maybe a little bit of the blue, make it nice and dark. And here we go. I'm gonna kind of negative paint it, the lines. Looks like these are just dark like this. And you have to do them all. You don't have to do every single one, but ones that are important. And then as they go up, they get a little bit lighter. Or let me take my small flat brush, my small 1/4 inch. Let's take this and really quickly do these little dark. See, I'm a negative painting the lines in there. And you have to do this while it's not wet so that you can make nice hard edges. And if I were doing this in my studio, I may have drawn them in there to get them really nicely lined up to exactly the way they are. But not here. I'm just gonna fake them up in a little bit. Where are they bigger? Are they bigger and get smaller down here? So down here, I can just tap away down here. I don't have to make it perfect. And I also can take some white paint and draw it through there too, if I feel like it didn't get it exactly. Let's do some blue up there. You should almost like pre-mix some of your colors, like pre-mix the blue, the light blue. Is there also something on the inside of the fin? Oh, that's just over. It goes round. Okay. Sorry, I keep on putting it over it. But it goes like this, and then it just kind of goes back. And kind of, it doesn't get too dark. It just gets dark right about here. And there's lines that go back. And there's little dots on this side. And his neck has a lot of little creases. Oh, I just put on the hotel. The hotel is gonna come and say, "Hey, why is my thing green?" So put little lines for its neck. Each time I have 15 minutes. Okay, we gotta hurry here. So let's do the back here real quick. Dot it up a little bit. And that can be soft edge anyways. And all the scales up here is where you want dark. Nice dark eye. And here we go with the little scales up here. I'm not sure if that's what they call it, scales. It's just, they're round little skin. His mouth. Like a little bit part of his mouth. Goes back. Quickly do this part. And I've been tending to use a lot of gouache lately to kind of get things to look thick and just not have to use masking fluid. I just use white. That's going back. Look at how cute. Back here. Now on his, this is a little bit darker, and but yeah, I should make it. I'm gonna re-wet it. Unfortunately, then I have to wait for it to dry. So, oh boy, maybe we'll do each individual thing a little bit. Let's try that. Watch this. Let's just try something different here. I'm just gonna make it darker, but I'm gonna go with each little part of his shell. Smaller brush. Where's the half inch? This way I can make it look like the lines in the turtle's shell. Instead of dark, all of them, some of them are light too. And back here, we're gonna make it a little bit darker. And we can put some lines in dark too. Any questions? Let me know. I'm a big expert on turtles. I know I've done a few of them to know some of the things that when I paint them, like, oops, that's not the color I'm using. Want to get a light blue again, so I have to make it blue and white. The second layer here of the turtle shell. I want this really light right here because I may rub out a few rays of light going through there. And how do you do that? Do you rub it out? Like I'm gonna do like little rays. I'm just gonna rub it out a little bit. Let me get a okay. Let me get a piece of paper towel. And let's get a really dark right here. So let's rub this out. I may have to use white paint because it doesn't seem like it's coming out because of the darn paper. Yep. And my wet is almost running out here. I gotta refill my white this next coming week, especially if I'm going out there painting on the spot. So let's just oh man, that's really not a white. That's like a yellow. I was watching Richie Rios yesterday do his demonstration for Watercolor Live, and he had something I should always tell you is like always have a tube of white available to you fresh because this is mixing white, but just have a little tube and just go in there with fresh white. So see, I'm just gonna take a little white there. You see how that's yellow? It's not even white. I'm just gonna put that through there like that. And so it's okay to have a little bit of yellow in there. That's fine. If you do instead of using masking fluid, you're using white, then it's good to get a nice tube of fresh. You can just pick up pure white out of the tube, and I'm gonna sparkle it with little sparkles. You can even sparkle him a little bit, you know, because he may have parts of him that's a little bit lighter and sparkled. And should there also be dark? I don't want to make rays. I don't like rays for light. I do like the look of the water is very like you're looking up into there and you get these Z's. Let me put my round brush to make these Z little things. So right now I'm just going into white. I'm not putting anything else in there. I just go back and forth and make the little Z's. And as they go back, they do get a little bit light blue, and so I'm gonna have to use a white with the light blue. So I'm gonna use this side of the white. As it goes farther down, it kind of gets light blue. Light blue. The stream do kind of come in and they kind of hit right on. See, it's like the sun is right above here, and so it's brightest there. And now let's just use a darker blue to get, you know, it's a little bit dark. Let's go a little bit darker than that. Let's really get some of these lines. Let's go some, how about some really dark ones? This would be fun to learn, like taking photographs of this underwater and just looking at them and see how it really works. You know, how what is it why is it a certain line? You know, is it because the wave hits the one way and it's dark there and then when it goes the other way and how does the sparkle come in? You know, I was just telling the class today, it's like when you want to learn something, you gotta look at it and study it, you know, to make it easy for you to think about that you don't even need to see a picture of it, you know, like painting things that you know and love. Basically, learn it, learn how those things look. And this, I'm gonna put a little bit of light in here because I don't like how that it got really dark right there. And so now I'm kind of gouaching it, which is, means I am taking gouache and covering it with dark and gouaching it. It's my new term. Let's see, I'm taking, this is white, that's white paint with blue, so, um, you know, what can I say? It's not transparent. this through here. See, I'm using, it's making it pastelly, right? When you're, is that a word, pastelly? I'm making it pastelly by putting white into the blue, and then I'm using it thick, and it's covering up. And I personally like that look. A little bit of white there. Now I'm even going to take my rigger brush and I'm going to make little white lines, opaque lines. Here it goes. I'm doing it illegally using white. Is it amazing how quickly you are detailing the turtle? Love the painting. Thank you very much. Thanks, Sylvia. What weight is your paper? It's a board. It's the Crescent board. It's a Crescent Brands board. I was going to do it on the Stonehenge, but it was really, I only had 140 at available at the time. So let's make our lines a little bit darker now. So, see, some of them are light, some of them are dark. It goes from light to dark here. I think I got this right. It was, this is, like I said, this is an AI image, so it could get it really wrong. And so really, if I knew turtles enough, then I would know how the shell exactly acts and how it would be. So learn the subject matter that you're painting. Learn about it. It's just so important. Give them a little smile. And what did I say? I was going to do the light, right? How much time do I have? A couple minutes. 4 minutes. The board looks like it's bowed in a little. Yeah, it is bowed. This board bows because it's not quite thick. So yeah, it's like bows a little bit. And let me do this light blue. Oops, not that light blue. So here's blue with a little bit of white. Make it a little bit more white. Blue. And where am I going to use it? I'm going to use it to where some of these things look like they're light. A little bit whiter. Let's see, I'm going to go around some of these darks, which are negative painted, but this just helps it a little bit to get it back to looking like it's those little scale things. Right. A little bit light here. That doesn't look good right there. You can't just have a few things right there. So let's take a little bit more of this and wash it in. Take a little bit of white. Tap it around a little bit. All right. How does that look? Is that okay? Everything done? I think I'm almost done. Looks like he does look pretty funny, doesn't he? He's got a little smirk. Yeah, it's a cool turtle. This I don't like because it's kind of like, what is it really there? It's kind of be a little bit of this. I get a couple minutes. Hold on. A couple minutes. A little bit of light. All right. I think that's it, guys. So, if you are down in Florida, with me or close to me, hopefully let's just pray that it gets a little bit warmer and get this a little bit darker here. Just notice this is a little bit too light. Let's put it up a little bit. Okay, there we have it, guys. So thanks so much for watching, and thanks for all of you that watched me the other day or yesterday and the day before on Watercolor Live. Sorry, one more thing. I just seeing it. All right, and so we will see you this Sunday, and I will hopefully be outside painting a something fun. Hopefully, and if not, it'll be another hotel room. So looking out the window, maybe. And until then, we will see you later. Bye bye, guys.